If you're poor, you'll always be poor.
That's really hard for people to understand.
Yeah, the money will disappear that fast. Just like most pro athletes, they make millions of dollars, and 65% are bankrupt 5 years later. It's because they come from poor families. Now you tell them that, they get very angry at you. It's not, it's the rich fault. It's you guys ripped me off and government ripped me off. But unfortunately, what Mr. Lipton was saying, it's passed down genetically.
There's so many ways to make money today. It's unbelievable.
It's amazing.
It's not even that crazy to do that. It's just a math class, right? And I know strategy, right?
Yeah.
So if I take 876,000 divided by 365 days, I need to make $2,400 a day.
Yeah.
Divided by 24 hours, $100 an hour. And I'm gold.
Yeah.
I'm in the top 1% club. So I just broke it down. If I break that down by the minute, I need to make $1.67 a minute.
When I was in my 20s, I wanted to be a millionaire. And when I was a millionaire, I wanted to be in my 20s. And so the idea that my future self would trade all the money he had to be poor at 20 again made me really reanalyze how I saw living life in the moment. If I literally in the future will value my present moment more than the achievement of the thing that I'm seeking right now in the present, then something's off.
Being at a net worth of 230 billion, roughly, being perceived as the richest person on Earth.
Well, I think Putin is significantly richer than me.
You really do, yeah?
Yes. Well, I mean, I can't go in big countries and stuff. I mean, there's like some old quote that from, you're not really rich unless you can afford a legion.
When I was broke, the idea, if someone told me they had 30 or 40 grand in the bank, I thought they were doing good. Now I'm sitting at a table, everyone's wearing a $100,000 watch. Nobody gives a fuck. It's just like, there's levels to the game. And when you get up to the top, you realize there's money everywhere. The abundance mindset, there are so many rich people. So if you're not where you want to be financially, I hope this pisses you off, because I'm telling you to annoy you, that you're sitting there struggling to pay your bills. There are people out there making so much money you couldn't possibly fathom, who have anything they want all of the time. And you may sit there and go, oh, but they're miserable. A lot of them aren't. Trust me, they're having a great time. So you need to make a bunch more money, because there's money everywhere.
You need to know what money is. Right? What is money? Right now, pause the video. What is money? Define it. Most of you guys could not literally define what money is. Who can create it? How much can they create? What gives them the authority? Right? All these things, you need to learn them. You need to learn them. Why? Because if you're going to pursue money, you better understand that which you're pursuing. Most of you guys don't have money because you don't understand anything about money. You don't know what money is. Therefore, money eludes you. But if you want to attract money, you must first understand what it is.
There's so much money in the world. To be too stupid to generate money, I think is less than 5% of the population who are genuinely too dumb to ever make a good wage. Then you have arrogant and lazy, and these are the two most common. Lazy is a big problem because people go, oh, but I just want to relax. If you just want to relax, that's fine. But you're competing against people who just don't want to relax, and you're going to lose. And the main reason people are not rich is because they are arrogant. 50% of people are brutally arrogant. And I'll give you an example. I have a school where I teach people how to make money online. It's called The Real World. It was called Hustlers University. It's now called The Real World. I sit here as a billionaire, and I sit and say, I will teach you how to make money online, anybody, 18 modern wealth creation methods. It's $49 a month, and I will teach you. And people will sit there in their brutal arrogance and as a brokey with no money and go, yeah, but can he really teach me? I have everything you've ever fucking dreamed of. I have all the money. You have nothing, and you're so arrogant that you believe you know more than me, or that you can do it without me, or that I don't know how to teach you. The arrogance of people is truly mind-bending. If you know so much, why are you broke?
The middle class, they're buying homes, they're buying cars, they buy country club memberships if they can afford them. They send their kids to good schools, they borrow money to go to college, they save their cash, and they invest in retirement accounts. Those are basically the 7 themes of the middle class, and it ain't working for them. The wealthy do none of those things, okay? They don't borrow money to go to college. They don't worry about buying houses, they buy businesses. They don't save cash. They know it's trash, and they invest in companies, and they'll do whatever it takes to get rich. Like, that is the priority, is to create wealth for themselves and their families, and they don't invest in retirement accounts.
If you had a teenage son, what would be the one piece of advice you'd give him to break through the matrix and achieve success in life, whatever that is for him?
I'm actually genuinely worried about my children because I grew up so broke, and they're going to be so fucking rich.
It is a worry, isn't it?
It's a worry. As for my teenage son, I'm gonna try very hard to. He's gonna have problems he needs to solve. And I think if you're a young man, even if you're not my child, if you're just any man who's out there in the world today, you need to look at some problems that need solving, either for yourself or for society, and find a way to fix them. And I think that you should just adopt some problems and try and fix them.
The only difference between successful people and not is just how they think. Rich people think different. Quit letting people tell you got to get qualified in another program. You don't need another program to be successful. You need to change the way you think.
The greatest asset you have is your mind. What does that mean?
Well, because money doesn't exist anymore. I came back from Vietnam in '73. My poor dad said, get your MBA. And my rich dad laughed. He was just pragmatic about it. He says, if you really want to be rich, take a class on real estate. And I said, why is that? He says, once you understand real estate is based on debt. And he says, you will learn how to use debt as money, because that's what happened in '71. The US dollar became debt. So once you learn how to use debt as money, you can never say, I can't afford it. Rich don't work for money. His number one expense is tax. See, there's three kinds of income: earned, portfolio, passive. So earned income is if I get a job, that's earned income. If I'm a doctor or a programmer, that's earned income, because I'm working for it. If I buy, let's say, Apple for $10 and I sell it for $20, that's portfolio income, capital gains.
Yeah.
But passive income, which is cash flow, is never taxed.
I own 16% of Amazon. Amazon's worth roughly $1 trillion. That means that what we have built over 20 years, we have built $840 billion of wealth for other people.
I think the easiest thing in life is to give up. You know, whatever you're focused on or whatever you're hopeful for. The hardest thing is to continue to keep going, but we have to. Like, we have to continue to hold on. And I would imagine for so many people out there, that is probably the most difficult thing.
Wealthiest people on earth, the reason they're multi-billionaires is not because they have 100 rental units. The reason they are multi-billionaires is because they have a company that's valued at multi tens of billions, and they just take a loan out whenever they want. That's really how you get to the hundreds of millions.
Would you rather have $10 million or 10 million subscribers on YouTube?
If I had nothing, I would say $10 million. Because with $10 million, you can hire some people and pump out content. And with like $1 million or two, get 10 million subscribers and then keep the other 8 million.
So that's if you believe in your ability to grow a channel.
If you don't believe in your ability to grow a channel, then you shouldn't take the 10 million subscribers, because you're just going to kill the channel. Yeah. Better question would be, would you rather have $1 million or 10 million subscribers? That's where it gets a little tricky. Because now it's like, no, $1 million is life-changing amount of money. But, you know, if you semi-knew what you're doing, you probably make $1 million off a 10 million subscriber channel.
If you want to become wealthy, it ultimately comes down to having more investments. Your savings are not there to make you wealthy. They're there to protect you against an emergency. Your investments are what make you wealthy. So if you want to become wealthy sooner, or if you want to become a wealthier,
you need more investments.
You need more investments. How do you do that? Well, if it's your income minus your expenses, it's basic math. Either increase your income, decrease your expenses, or do both.
Your problem is not how much money you have in the bank. It's like you don't produce anything. You're not getting bigger and faster. Nobody knows you. You guys are known by so many people. There's no way money doesn't come here. Money comes to attention. Wherever attention goes, money goes. And people are not being taught that. They're like, save your money. No, get outside your house. Buy a house. You don't need to buy a house. Nobody needs to own a home. The super rich people don't own homes. Like, study the wealthy corporations. They invest money. They don't keep it.
I bought a book in 1949 by a fellow named Ben Graham called The Intelligent Investor. It's very important to have the right framework. You need to have an approach to investing that's sound. And Graham's approach is simple. If you have the right philosophy, you will find opportunities. Stocks sell at silly prices, and it doesn't take a high IQ to figure out that they're cheap, but it does take a temperament that's willing to step up and actually act. I figured out very early, you don't have to be that smart in this business, which is fortunate, but you do have to have the right temperament, and you have to be able to ignore what other people are saying and simply look at the facts and decide, is this stock which is selling at X worth 2X? And occasionally you'll find things like that, and when you don't find them, you don't do anything.
Do you have more pounds in the bank or more Instagram followers?
It's a good question. Probably similar, I don't know.
I'm just trying to work out how Wayne Rooney could hate you even more, and probably that's the answer.
Well, not only him. Imagine the rest of the rats, they're gonna criticize me too. But it's good. It's good to be still number one.
Someone has to be the one to break the cycle in your family. Why not you? Break the financial struggle cycle. And why not you be the example and the role model to everyone else in your family and your extended family as, hey, we can create wealth.
Let me be clear about cash flow. It's the only thing I care about. There is no business without cash flow. You might be able to last for a couple of years borrowing money, getting more investors, but if you don't have cash flow, you're going to zero. It's that simple. And I think you have to face that reality as an entrepreneur. Cash flow is the blood of business. If you don't have any blood, you're dead.
No matter what, when you make money, split it in half.
Yeah.
Split it in half right away. Don't put the money in your bank account and look at it as you got all that money, because you don't. Half of that money is not yours. So right away, put it over here. Create a account, call it the tax account. Put half of that there, so as you make money, you always put this money in the tax account. I never got to worry of giving the government their money, because that money's over there, and I don't look at that like it's my money. I'm never gonna touch that money, because it's not mine, it's the government.
The lazy people use their own money. And that's because I have spent much of my life raising capital. The reason I had to learn to raise money was because I had no money. And so if you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, in there, my rich dad always said, never say, I can't afford it. And it was my rich dad and many of my teachers subsequent to that, they said, lazy people always say, I can't afford it. I don't have the money. That's why they're poor. They have a poor mindset.
You don't get rich as an employee. You don't get rich as an employee. You make other people rich. The deal is, as an employee, you exchange your time, skill set, and expertise in exchange for their systems, their security, and their exposure. And if you were smart, you will go in and negotiate the highest money you could get and go in and learn the most you can about the business of what you do, and then leave and do it for yourself. You don't get rich as an employee. And far too many guys want to get rich as workers. Rich comes from ownership.